Okay, here we go. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Fun fact, for those who don't know why I try to repeat stuff at the beginning, is mostly because my noise gate will sometimes cut off my speech. So I'll try to speak a little bit before I actually say what I mean to say. Just a little bit of a behind the scenes there for you. Anywho, it's Sunday. It's late on Sunday. It's 9:30, Sunday the 7th. But there's a new One Piece chapter for me to react to. We're not doing it on Monday for once, because I'll probably be busy moving forward. And now that I've stopped to think about it, Dahlia's trailers are probably going to drop this week. Hopefully they don't drop until after Thursday when I have time to do an actual reaction. But, beyond that, I guess look forward to that. I don't know if there's actually going to be a Myriad Celestia trailer to react to either. I didn't watch the live stream, so I actually don't know what's coming. But, I guess there's that. A little bit of channel news for y'all, since these always go straight to YouTube unedited. As another reminder, because of the fact that Viz makes the 3 most recent chapters of One Piece publicly available, so you can do a read-along with me if you want to, as long as you're watching this video within 3 to 4 weeks of when I recorded it. And as I said earlier, it's December the 7th. How was everybody else's first week of December? I hope it's been good so far. As some of you might know, my brother's birthday is this week. I tried to get in contact with him, but I couldn't. I'm going to keep trying to contact him. Hopefully he gets back to me. Anywho. What am I here for? Right, recap. So, we got a little bit more insight into Harold, and a little bit more insight into Ida's demise. That's what happened in the previous chapter, which I now realize is one of the only 2 things I recorded last week. I mean, we did some cat racing. Don't look for that on the YouTube channel. It's not here yet. I won't get around to editing it for like a week. Oh god, I have so much editing to get around to. Well, actually, not that much. Only really like two streams left to edit. I think. Brain. Work brain. How much is left to edit? There's the event, which I'm going to double up and put it into one video, even though it was 2 streams. Y'all can survive one 5-hour upload. I'm going to probably edit it down a lot. Yeah, that's all I got. Anywho, well, that's enough of the recap. I guess we'll just move into the chapter proper. Page 1 is another reader request. We still haven't started a new cover story. Welcome to chapter 1168, The SNOWS of Elbaph. So, maybe we're going to learn a little bit about the underworld. Because we know that the mid-tier tree level of Elbaph causes shade, which makes it basically perpetually winter on the ground level of Elbaph. And we're probably not going to talk about the cover page, so let's just jump into page 2 right now. There we go, page 2. That same year... 5 years... Oh, I was going to say, that same year, what year is that? We're still 15 years in the past, I guess. So we're about a year before Harold dies. A year before Shanks loses an arm. And... what is it, like 6-7 years before Loki gets chained up? No, 9 years. 9 years until that. Because he was chained for 6 years. They're saying those giants in the Navy played a crucial role once again. That's great to hear. I used to think they were scary. Now I wish I could see one day. Oh, great. That's actually something that I don't think people talk about all that much. The fact that there's people of other races participating in the Navy might help make public interest in those races seem a little bit more favorable to the public. That being said, I actually watched the new anime adaptation of the Elbaph arc today. And there was today is the episode where Vegapunk talks a little bit about the races that are getting exterminated or close to extinction, I believe was the words he used. That scene actually played out in the anime today if you're watching the Toei adaptation. Which makes me wonder, how long until we get that, what was it, who's doing the new adaptation? I forget who. Haven't got really new news on that. Hopefully we get new news soon. I mean, we got new news on the One Piece live action. That's going to be coming out in March. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm also just excited to hear news about the production of Season 3. Alright, what's going on? We can see some chefs. Is there any way I can get more shipped here? Folks can't get enough of that Elbaph seafood. Yeah, I bet. Ooh, Elbaph cuisine. It's starting to spread out there. Oh my god, is that deep sea current sumit? Good Elbaph cedar. It's quality stuff. Too bad it's hard to ship. Sold. So this is a callback, actually. We talked about people were sneaking onto Elbaph and stealing some of the tree wood. Or atom wood. Whatever it's called. Elbaph, New World. And once our dream of being part of the world government comes true, I think that should be... we should build a cruise ship so that we can travel freely to our fellow nations. To the rest of the world, we are just a curious minority. There are so many different peoples in many countries. They have cultures worthy of respect. And as we come into contact with them, Elbaph will gain more friends and more wisdom. I can't wait. People are excited. This is good stuff. Harold's dream is a truly noble one. Boy, I wonder how news of his wife's death is going to hit him, though. We're almost there, my countrymen. Our future is bright. Guess the warrior business is dead. I will see it through, Ida. Okay, so I guess she has passed on at this point. Alright, the Walrus School is being built. The children are playing and learning, I hope. This is all thanks to you, Saul. A lot more healthy and kids swinging swords. Oh, my allergies are almost gone. Oh, I can smell the winter on the horizon. Well, that was a good first 2 pages, I say, now knowing that these are pages 2 and 3. Let's move on to pages 4 and 5. Don't it scare you thinking about... What? Don't it scare you thinking about what you're losing, Harold? Okay, I misread that. No longer think about the military might as our national strength. Oh, there's Ida's grave. Ida taught me everything I know. The fact that I met her is my lifelong treasure. That's really sweet. I wonder if I'll get to say that about somebody someday. Okay, that's depressing, so let's not think about that anymore. Okay. Who are we flashing back? Hey, Harold. You've really changed. Oh, we're seeing Ida on her deathbed now. When I first came here, I was terrified of all the civil wars. But you've changed this country bit by bit. Children studying hard. Bright and cheerful laughter. It's like a different country completely. Old practices, strange customs. We gotta throw out all the bad habits of our warrior past. I'm not exactly a traditionalist, so I'm not actually one of those people that thinks that all of the old traditions need to be kept held. I got into an argument with somebody earlier where they said that this is normal. It's been this way for 5 years, and like that's not a valid, or I guess it is a valid argument, but it's not a good argument. It's like a fallacy from tradition. Because if something is normal, doesn't mean it's good. Normal does not equal good. Natural does not equal good. I mean, if you want to make an argument from tradition, I mean, we got rid of slavery, but hey, that was normal for a very long time. Change can be good. Don't shirk change. You should remember the traditions of the past. You don't need to continue to practice them. Because part of me is a historian at heart, and I believe we should try to keep and remember the past. Because those who do not remember history will be forced to repeat it in the next year of school. Every history teacher makes that joke at some point. Alright. But I like your warrior's pride. I think it's cool. You ought to treasure your culture. Well, what about the fact that you and I weren't allowed to marry? I could never get over that. You told them you wanted to make me your true wife, didn't you? That's so sweet of you. You're my big sweetie. What about Loki? He'll be Herdon's little brother. How's that? To me, that's what he's always been. Harold, you should have been a better dad, but boy, were you a great person. Which reminds me, I just saw, like, while I was on biking, I didn't see it, I guess. I played it on autoplay in my earpiece. But, I was listening to one of the recent film theories where they did, is Aang a bad father in Avatar? And I basically came to the same take that they did. You can watch the video if you want. But I've always come to the understanding that he was not a good father, but he wasn't a bad father either. He did neglect slightly some of his other children in favor of Tenzin, but at the same time, it was kind of his responsibility to give that burden to Tenzin. You know, carry on the tradition of airbending and all that, but long story short, he was a flawed parent, but hey, those kids had another parent, and she was a pretty good one, so those kids turned out fine. Let the avatars stay in the past. Aang is dead. We don't need to talk about him anymore. Spoilers from a series from 20 years ago. Mold. Anywho, that's the end of pages 4 and 5, so I'm going to go start looking at pages 6 and 7. Alright. Has that meme gotten old yet? I hope it has. Nah, I'm joking. I don't really care about that meme. It's funny. I think the meme's funny. I almost did a GIF of this. If I could do a GIF for a thumbnail on YouTube, I'm surprised we don't do that. Why can't we have GIFs for thumbnails on YouTube? If I had a GIF for a thumbnail on YouTube, the thumbnail would have just been me doing this for the 1167. But we're on 1168 now. No more 6-7 jokes anymore. From this point on to the end of the video, we will not make another 6-7 joke. I promise you. Okay, back to the top of page 6-7. Just hearing that from you will keep me fed for months. I really, really don't mind. You're everyone's king, Harold, not just mine. We're almost there, aren't we? That's right, Ida. Very soon. We'll be connected to the rest of the world, and our world will grow but to be millions of times larger than before. And then we'll do whatever we used to do. And go traveling all over. Oh, we're getting a flashback to when they were young. And naive. How old was he back then? Like 115? I don't remember. That sounds fantastic. I can't wait. Neither can I. And she died right there. Wow. I mean, we already know she died, but boy, does it hurt to see it. Meanwhile, Blackbeard's mom survived the flashback, so just remember, some mothers did live. She's gonna die in another flashback later when we get Blackbeard's flashback. If we get Blackbeard's flashback. A lot of villains introduced pre-timeskip don't get flashbacks. I wonder how many people even remember that. Does everyone remember Crocodile's flashback? No? Wapple got a flashback. Remember Arlong's flashback? Yeah, I bet you remember Arlong's flashback. Ooh, what about Kuro's flashback? I love Kuro. We love Kuro on this channel. I can't wait till Kuro becomes relevant in the story again. Now we got to see the kids and how they're reacting to the death of the mother. Loki's in jail. Haruden is crying. Harold is doing this. And I am also doing this, so you can't see that I'm crying. You also can't see that I'm looking out of the corner of my eyes at my second monitor to see if I can hide it even better. Or to see that if you can see what I'm doing behind my hand. Oh, Loki's tipping his hat down. I guess Loki's crying too. It's snowing in Elbaph. Oh, is this why the chapter is called the Snow of Elbaph or whatever it was? I've already forgotten. I'm going to switch back real quick. Yeah, the Snows of Elbaph. Alright, so I guess that's the end of page 6-7, which means it's time to go to 8-9. 14 years ago, we're finally where the flashback is coming to an end. I wonder if there's a break week next week. Maybe not next week, but the week after there should be a break. 14 years ago, Sacred Marijoa. Shanks has gone missing. Yes, and his current mission was complete. He was on track to be made a full-fledged knight. As his backup, that means that you have a golden opportunity. Will you take it? All right, Harold. Harold's moving up in the world. Government. Of course, I want to join the Knights of God. It means that Elbaph will be allowed to join the government. Congratulations on the Great One trusts you. What a long haul it's been. Okay. I thought that said something else. I thought it said hail, but no, it's haul. And now you'll be known as the king who changed Elbaph's history forever. Oh, that's the 5 elders he's talking to. It's kind of hard to tell because they're drawn really small because none of them are even to the top of the boot that he's wearing. Oh, we're at the empty throne. On the day that Elbaph has entered into the world government, I plan to abdicate the throne. Someone younger and purer deserves to be our new king. Oh, Emu's talking. That is for Mu to decide. Why is someone sitting on the empty throne? Come closer. I have been watching thee, Harold. Oh boy, here we go. This is where it all starts going downhill from here. I assume. I haven't read the chapter yet. But if it doesn't start going downhill from here, I don't know how we get to the present day. Well, maybe this is going to be why they have the weird summoning circle thingy in Harold's castle, in the throne room. Anywho, I guess that's it for pages 8 and 9. So I guess it's time to move on to pages 10 and 11. Oh! There's just a scream in this panel. This strength. Oh, his tattoo mark thing is hissing. It's rippling through me, it's almost frightening. And now he is immortal. Oh, I didn't think about that. So if Harold is immortal, how did he die? We know that he dies, canonically, like, less than a year, or in the year he dies. So he dies shortly after this. Well, by the way, now he is immortal. By the way, that's Marcus Mars that's saying that line. Warkery is saying, it chills the spine. Baron Venus Juro, he is more than a monster. He is a weapon. Alright, let's cut back to the group. What's everyone else doing? Now at long last, thou art an undying knight in service to Mu. Undying? Still doesn't feel real. Thou wilt create an abyss on Elbaph. That will be thy bond to us. And when thou hast completed thy final duty after that, Let us have a toast. Oh, we're cutting away. Somebody else. Thy wish will be granted. Elbaph will be welcomed among the world government's member nations. Alright. So it hasn't gone downhill yet. So now is it going to start going downhill from here? That's the end of pages 10 and 11. So Harold is immortal. And this is actually probably going to be the big secret reveal. Loki saw Harold die, which means Loki knows how to kill the God's Knights. Oh my god, I'm just putting that together. Oh, that's going to be the big reveal of the flashback. We're going to find out how you kill the God's Knights. Or at least defeat them. Gabon clearly knows how to just hit them hard enough to where they don't go down. He cut Sommers in half, and we thought Sommers was dead, but then Sommers got back up like 2 chapters later. But, I guess we're going to find that out soon. Maybe not in this chapter, but eventually. Let's move on to pages 12 and 13. Is it all downhill from here? Arust Castle. Huh. Yep, here we go. He's putting the summoning circle in the throne room. What did you say, O great Emu? Use thy entire army to form an army of warriors. Use thy entire country to form an army. So going against his actual wishes. Thou wilt build a giant fleet to rival the navy. And for the benefit of the world, he's like, wait, no, stop. I've been doing all of this to help Elbaph escape the cycle of fighting. Of course, I've always intended to allow those who wish to enlist in the Navy to do so, but not like this. Who's the Majesty talking to? I think he's going crazy. Talking to voices in his head. Well, it's a good thing all the guards are going to also die. I don't think we talked about them, but yeah, all the guards also die when Harold dies. There's just a bunch of dead people in the room. Thou saidst history would be atoned for. Thou saidst thou wouldn't be a slave. Thou wouldst be a slave. Okay. Okay, Emu's speaking in the weird dialect here. Doesn't exactly read off the tongue. Yes, but only myself. History is not so light that it can be shouldered by thee alone. Do not speak back. Wow, he's talking back to Emu. Thou canst disobey Mu. Those who have accepted the Depth's Covenant are given immortality and strength, but must obey orders in return, huh? Think what thou wilt have to pay. Wait. Think what thou wilt. I will have my way. Okay, I misread that entirely. I can't stop. I'm being controlled. And Elbaph with me. There was never any intent to bring into the circle of the world. Damn you, even. Okay, it's okay. So he regrets his decisions now. Harold was a little naive. He didn't know what the contract entailed. He didn't know what the contract entailed. So now we're going to slowly see. This is probably going to lead into the scene where he's going to end up having to fight his warriors, and then he's going to kill them all. And hopefully die in the process. Alright, pages 14 and 15, and this looks to be the end of the chapter. Oh, guards to arms. Were you planning to make the warriors of Elbaph into your slaves? What is it, your majesty? Is someone in here? Bring chains. Tie me to this pillar, huh? Act quick. Call Chief Yarul and my sons. Alright, he's already grabbed a sword and he's getting ready to fight, but it looks like he's gonna having his body controlled. I'm pretty sure Rudin is out at sea right now. And Prince Loki is still in a cell for that thing he did a year ago, I guess. Time is different to a giant. I guess he could spend a year in a cell and it feels like nothing. When you live 300 years, you have a very different perception of time. I cannot resist. What is the matter, your majesty? Just release him. Underworld holding cells. You're freed, Loki, Report to Aru's castle immediately. The king calls for you. Alright? Geralt's house urgently. Just a moment. What could it be? But now, let us return to the story. On this day, there was a terrible massacre inside the castle. And the most beloved ruler in history of Elbaph, wise King Harold, perished. Alright, we have circled back all the way to the beginning of the Floki flashback arc. To be continued. Finally, we're getting close to the end. We have at least one more, maybe two more chapters of this flashback before we're done with it, I hope. Next chapter might be the last bit of the flashback. We're going to do the predictions first before we go into chapter highlights. So let's start with predictions. I think we're going to see the death of Harold in the next chapter. That's pretty much been spelled out to us. Kind of goes without saying, to be honest. And we do end on a really nice panel of Harold, or his portrait. I think it's the same portrait we saw in the present day. Maybe we'll get some action panels. How much fighting they want to show in the next chapter, I believe, is going to determine whether or not we have one chapter left this year or two chapters left this year. I have been very vocal throughout my read-throughs about how much I do not like action in manga. I prefer to watch that stuff in the anime format, because reading action in comic book format is, to me, kind of boring. It slows down the story. Occasionally there's like one or two really cool panels and pieces of art, but I would rather have those cool pieces of art than having panels dedicated to, I'm winding up a punch, I'm throwing a punch, the impact of the punch. I would rather just have the impact of the punch, or like setup and payoff. That's all I really look for in an action scene. Setup, payoff, setup, payoff, setup, payoff. I'm getting off track. We're supposed to be talking about predictions in the next chapter. Anywho, there's probably going to be some action in the next chapter, and you're going to hear me complain about it more then. Alrighty. Next week is not Christmas week, so there probably is a chapter next week. I don't think that there's a break. Unless we get like a 1 or 2 week break for like the holidays, which we sometimes get. And then there'll be a delay till like January 3rd or whatever for a chapter. But I don't know. I don't really pay attention to the news, because it's how I avoid getting spoiled. So I kind of ignore One Piece news for like 5 days a week. I watch all my One Piece news basically on Sunday, Monday, and then like early Tuesday morning. And on those 3 days, I look at One Piece news. Because around late Tuesday, all the spoiler people start uploading. And then I kind of have to stay away from One Piece on the internet. Any other predictions? Let's see. Maybe we cut to where Harold is and what, Haruden. We need to cut to Haruden to see what Haruden is doing, because he's at sea at this point. This is 14 years ago. Also, when this flashback started, it also started with Shanks and Gabon sensed some weird hockey or something coming from Aru's castle. So maybe we'll cut back to get into their perspectives. It's also very interesting that Shanks goes missing, and that's what allowed Harold to... No, wait, that's not important. We know where Shanks was missing. He was probably just playing pretend. But I think we might see some more Shanks in the next chapter. Probably not as likely as just action bogging down the chapter, but the chapter after that would probably cut to the big reveal of how they were able to kill Harold. He is immortal. I think it might just boil down to Emu might have gotten the contract revoked. Because technically we saw that's what happened to Saturn. Saturn basically, Emu killed him. He aged him like a couple hundred years in a few seconds. Ending of Indiana Jones and the Ark of the Lost Covenanted him. I think I've ran out of things to talk about in terms of predictions, so let's just go back into chapter highlights. Chapter highlights, obviously, me getting the epiphany of the Five Elders revealing that Harold is immortal. Harold being immortal plays so deeply into the story now. It's going to be super important. We're going to need to find out how these Holy Knights can be killed, or at the very minimum, how we can get past their regeneration. Last chapter, we learned that there's only like 13 of them, but we still don't know if that includes the 5 elders in that 13 or not. We've only ever seen a small handful of the Holy Knights, so is it like 6 Holy Knights, and then 5 elders, and then like maybe Emu's direct Emu plus whatever Emu's servant is, I guess, which is Gunko right now. Gunko was probably actually a knight candidate as well, now that I think about it. And Gunko might have been given their position in the God Knights when Harold died. If they're like a knight in waiting or something. So that might be something worth talking about. We don't know how long Gunko has been a Holy Knight. But that being said, we saw Gunko like 40 years ago in the past, and they look the same as they do now. So they might have been a Holy Knight even back then. So maybe I'm just talking out my ass. Obviously, a big highlight here is the quote-unquote funeral of Ida. Really sad to watch another mom of One Piece bite the dust. I'm not crying. It's just the snow melting on my face. You know what? And that's probably what I'm going to put on the thumbnail. Ida taught me everything I know. The fact that I met her is my lifelong treasure. This cold, dark, but loving memory as we pan over to her tombstone. That is probably what I will probably put in the thumbnail for this. Last week was Ida's sons. This week is Ida's memory. Pour one out for her. I don't drink. Anywho, there's a great speech that we get out of Harold. We get to see the Walrus School being completed. And, frankly, a lot of just panels where the art alone tells the story and not a lot of talking. Like, everyone gathered out in front of Ida's house right when she passes. We could see Haruden, we could see Gerd, we could see Rode, we could see Goldberg. We got a lot more dialogue out of Emu this chapter, so quite a bit of dialogue from Emu this chapter. This might actually be the chapter with the most Emu dialogue in it, now that I think about it. Maybe that chapter where he blows off Dory/Broggy's, I get them mixed up all the time, arm, and went all demon time on everybody. That might be the one that has the most Emu dialogue, but this one might be taking the cake. We also got another funny reaction shot out of Harold. Why is someone on the empty throne? But yeah, this chapter is very depressing. I still think last week's chapter will go down as my favorite, but man, did that sudden realization in this chapter. Oh, that was a good moment. Also, Loki tipping his hat in the cell door. That's going to be a memorable moment. Ida always considered him to be Haruden's older brother, or little brother. Haruden's older. I forgot about that. Estrid was the second wife, technically. Well, not Estrid. Eris? Was it Eris, or was it Estrid? I've already forgotten. She's not important. She's dead and gone. And her entire family is also dead and gone. So, she's no longer important to the story. We're never going to talk about her again. I'm probably not going to remember her name. Weird geomancer lady. Gold digger. Also, Loki doesn't really have much of a beard in this somber panel. Alright. We are now ending where we began. 14 years in the past. The death of Harold is nigh. In fact, they've already said he died. That being said, they said that Ida kind of sort of died in the last chapter, and now we saw it this chapter, so I'm sure we'll get to see him. One last time. Alright. I think that's it for me. I don't really have much more to add here at this point. So let's move into the outro and give us some last little bit of channel updates. Just a reminder, if you want to stay up to date on what I'm doing and when I'm doing it, the best way to do that would be to join the Discord. Links to it are where the links are. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's going to be in the description. If you're watching this on Twitch, it's on the About page. And for those who don't know, for whatever reason, I have a Twitch. It's twitch.tv/sheetstreams. We stream weekly right now for these One Piece reactions, and we do other content on the channel. We do some Shadowverse, which I've been planning to get more back into since we took about a month break off from it. We're going to start resuming that in a week or two. There's been about two updates, so I bet there's another story update for me to play through, and maybe do some ladder climbing, maybe some guild recruiting. We also basically have been sinking a lot of time into Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact. That's another thing that we do on the channel. If there's anything you would like to recommend on the channel as well, I'm open to suggestions. You can put it in the comments, or you could just leave a message on the Discord. There are appropriate channels for that. Just don't spam my inbox. Anywho, this has been me. This has been Sheets Streams. I'm Dan Sheets, and I'll see you all when I see you. Stay safe out there, everybody.